Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estella.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
And Crime.
We're like, hi.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Welcome to my channel. Anyway, so we are back to the garaje. It was a disaster finding somewhere else to record, but you know what? It's okay. It's a live and learn kind of situation, but it is what it is. So today's episode actually is going to be brought by me. And I was telling Estella, this one was kind of like, gave me like the little like goosebumps, así como que,
Medio escalofrío.
Medio escalofrío.
But not because you had to go to the restroom.
No.
It was
actually,
it was because, you know, it was
porque it was a little spooky.
It was a little spooky.
Yeah, it just kind of, and not really spooky, but you know how when things happen and you're like, oh shit, that's actually happened, like that.
Okay.
So this week's episode, we're going to Philadelphia.
Okay.
We're going to Philly. So if you would like to go to Philly with us, if you would like to
wear a garbage bag as a top.
Or you can go to Philly with us now. Grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know. We're a hot mess right now. So we're going, like I said, to Philadelphia, home of the Fresh Prince.
Fresh what?
Home of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Uh-huh. And Philly cheesesteaks?
Yes. And actually, we're going to West Philadelphia, to be exact.
Okay.
So
Truly,
like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So fun facts about, I'm going to say facts with an S because I went in. Okay.
There were plenty.
So Philly is actually known as the city of first.
Okay.
So the first home computer was in Philly. The first hospital was in Philly. The first African-American church. The first organized protest against slavery.
Oh.
The first zoo in America. The first Thanksgiving parade. The first soft pretzel. And the first newspaper.
That's it?
No. One more thing that I thought was really interesting was that most of the answers of the U.S. citizenship test is found in Philly. Are found in Philly. Since Philadelphia is home to most of our American history, a lot of the answers can be found in the city.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. And lastly,
you should go watch National Treasure.
Oh, dude, I love that movie. Yeah. And lastly, Philadelphia is also home of the largest park system in the United States. It's called U.S. Fairmont Park. It spans over 9,000 acres.
So it's a park.
A park.
Like Central Park?
Kind of like Central Park, but it's way bigger than this.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called facts.
Fun facts. Interesting, random facts.
Facts. You said facts.
So today we will be discussing the case of little Miss Shilie Turner. Now, Shilie, her mom spelled it Shilie. So it's a little bit different. And this will put us back to 1993. Okay. Shilie was a track star. She was a runner girl. Mm-hmm. And she was on her way to a full scholarship in college with being a track student. She actually had such a good record.
A track student?
Yeah, a student that ran track. Her record was so excellent that she was actually at this point, because she's 17, so she's getting closer to graduating. Mm-hmm. So at this point, she's kind of just being scouted. You know, so she actually had a full scholarship to Clemson University, and she had a lot of other offers and a lot of other schools that were watching her.
But she wanted to go to Clemson?
That's where she wanted to go. But, you know, you want to see what's out there.
Keep your options open.
Everybody would always mention how she was one day going to be an Olympian. So there was a lot of, like I said, there was a lot of offers out there. And she, as awesome as she was, I'm pretty sure she was going to be huge. She attended William Penn High School in Philadelphia, and her coach worked really hard. Like, he was really hard on practicing and as much as they could on actually trying to get the scouts out there for the potential, you know, track stars. Not only that, but they were so amazing. They didn't even have a track. Like, they ran in the concrete, because their school was low income. Yeah. So that was even a biggest deal, because for them, it's like you're running in concrete where
It's harder.
Pretty much anything that you said to put yourself out there, you can run through, right? So they would go through, and every meet that she would have was really important to her because she's like, okay, I have to have this meet, and then this certain amount of people are going to be out there scouting us. So Mr. Hickey is the name of the coach.
And that's saying a lot. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, it's okay.
You said it was a low income school.
Yeah.
And even then they had like scouts from all over. I'm sure all over the country.
The country, yeah.
Like looking out for.
So she was probably I could say the number one track star, basically.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody knew about her. She was so sweet and amazing, and she had good grades and everything. So Mr. Hickey was the name of the coach, and he was hardworking with all of the team, but with her, he knew she there was something about her.
Yeah.
So then they would actually, like I said, run in any weather, outside, inside, pretty much anywhere, like Forrest Gump, this kind of gumbo, that kind of gumbo. Not only was Shilie really into her running and into her school work, but she also had to make sure that her sister was taken care of. So she lived at home with her sister, which was younger than her mom and her stepdad. And her mom was a working mom, but she had a lot of responsibilities at home. She needed to make sure that her sister was fed, and also that she was doing her homework as well, and that she was taken care of, showered, bathed, or whatever it is. On January the 17th of 1993, Shilie had the biggest meet of the season. There was no way that she was going to miss this meet. This was big. And she was very excited to be there at the moment. But whenever everybody started getting together at the school to get ready for the meet, everybody noticed that Shilie wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So the coach started asking around, hey, has anybody seen Shilie? Has anybody seen Shilie? Because she didn't make it to the meet.
Or she hadn't gotten there yet.
No, she didn't make it yet. Like, she wasn't there.
Right.
And so they ran and everything, and she still wasn't there. So they were like, something is not okay, because she wouldn't have missed us for anything.
And it's not like it was 1993. They didn't have cell phones.
They didn't have cell phones or anyway. So they contacted her mother. Her mother's name is Vivian King, to find out if she had any idea where her daughter was. But Vivian did tell the coach that she had not seen her daughter since the day before, because she had spent the night over at her neighbor, also best friend, Andrea McCall, which lived across the street from them. Since the meet was such a big deal, once again, Ms. King decided, along with her husband, since she didn't show up, to contact the police, because something was definitely not right.
And then you go look for her at the...
They went... Wait, hold on.
Oh,
so the police did go and talk to Vivian and asked her, hey, do you have trying to see if she had any information of maybe she knew where her daughter could be.
Yeah.
So obviously, they were probably thinking, okay, did she run away? Did, what happened?
But yeah.
Why? But with the record that Shilie had, she was an excellent student. She was great in the community. Everybody knew her. There was no way that they were thinking that she had run away.
Right.
So apparently she did tell them once again that Shilie had gone to stay with her neighbor's house, the day before, because they were going to go downtown to a school dance.
Okay.
So the neighbor Andrea,
downtown?
Well, I guess that's where, like, the place where they're
it's just weird, like downtown.
I don't know how Philly works, sister. So then she's like, she was gonna go with Andrea to the stand, so that's exactly where she went. That's the last time I saw her. So Vivian did give police a description of her daughter. She said she was about 5'9", slim, 130 pounds.
She was tall.
Yeah, she was tall. She gave as much information as she could for the police to find her, like, description of her eyes, brown, whatever it was. And also gave the police information of the friend, the coach, and where she was supposed to be, and maybe give them a start to where to start looking. The investigation began. Obviously, first things first, they need to go talk to Andrea, her best friend, and say, hey, what happened? Did she come last night? What was going on? So they did they were going over all of this information, and Andrea said that Shilie was actually there, but she wasn't there. Huh? So apparently Shilie was talking to this boy that she had met at school. Okay. So he had just transferred from another school. He was about 19, 20 years old, and his name is Sean.
That's kind of old for high school, no?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that he had transferred or something like that. I don't know what's going on, but that's what they said. Anyway,
maybe he flunked or something.
He might have. Mm-hmm. And so then when she said that when Shilie got there, she was wearing this outfit que nada que ver. O sea, no, the outfit was not her. Estaba bien como que, what the fuck are you wearing? Así, como que le dijo ella, ¿así te vas a ir? You know, one of those moments.
Yeah, I'll dance.
Dijo, I'll dance. No, a ver al boyfriend, porque para esto ella fue a Andrea's house porque Andrea le iba a cubrir. She was going to cover her. They weren't going to go to the dance. Andrea was going to cover her so that she can go, because if Vivian se daba cuenta, le iba a ir bien mal a la pobre de
do you know if they just wanted her to focus on like track and school? And
they didn't really mention none of that, but I'm pretty sure that something had to do with that because she had so much going on,
like for writing her. On like scholarships.
So le dijo, pues qué chingos traes puesto, that you can't go like that. So she said, hold on, I'm gonna go and get you a jacket of my dad's and see if it can match better. So le trajo una leather jacket that was black. So she put us on the jacket and she said, okay, this outfit looks a lot better. And she left.
Más dressy.
Más dressy, or like kind of trying to look cute for her little boyfriend or whatever he is. So Sean and Shilie, like I said, they connected. And as soon as they began to talk, according to Andrea, they became really inseparable. They were really good friends. And blah, blah, blah.
But behind everybody's back,
no one knew about it. So at this point, she tells her friend, hey, I'm going to be back. Regreso early so that we can go to bed because I have to be at the meet in the morning.
Right.
So she leaves Andrea's house and she was on her way to meet Sean. Mm-hmm. Now, police is like, okay, so who is Sean? How are we going to find Sean? So they talk to the kids around the school and the kids tell them, okay, Sean lives here, so and so. So they bring Sean into the police station. Mm-hmm. So they said, hey, what's going on? You know, she's missing, blah, blah, blah. And Sean said, yes, I did. And yes, we are meeting. We did meet last night. She was with him and they were talking just like nothing out of the ordinary. They were in a room playing video games and they just kind of lost track of time. So para esto, he says that she actually got like scared, like, oh shit, like es tarde and I have to go.
Right.
So she ends up saying that he says that she left at around 1:30.
En la madrugada.
Y él la encaminó. He walked her to the bus. She got on the bus and
was supposed to go to Andrea's.
She was supposed to go back home to Andrea's or home.
Yeah.
You know, he said que la miró. He put her on the bus.
Yeah.
So, and tells him, I'm sorry, I have to go. I have a track meet tomorrow.
Right.
Like once again. So the investigators did believe him because there was so much that, like, even the bus driver, he mentioned that he did see Andrea get on the bus by herself.
Yeah.
Like he did not see Sean come on the bus with him.
Or que le haya hecho algo.
Right. Or que se pelearon or nothing. He says, no, yes, she got on the bus by herself.
And that was that.
And so then, y dice el bus driver that when he drives her over to the side of town that she's from. And the driver said that she got off 6 blocks from her house.
Or the stop.
Or no. The stop was 6 blocks from her house because based on what the investigator...
and then her and Andrea were like neighbors. Anyways,
yeah, they were neighbors. Yeah. So se había salido del bus del autobús 6 bloques antes de tiempo. So, but the bus driver did...
¿No es cuadras?
Cuadras. Bloques. Ay, güey. Sí, 6 bloques antes de tiempo se bajó. Ay, dije otra vez. Cuadras. Son bloques, hombre. So the bus driver stated, and I quote, "It was not a good place for a 17-year-old to be walking at 2:00 in the morning." End quote. And this quote is from Yvonne Laddie, reporter from the Philadelphia Daily News. So she says, there's no way that she would have gotten in there and that was normal for the bus driver. So le llamó la atención al bus driver.
He was going to remember her, seeing her, especially at that time.
Not only that, but a young girl.
That young,
yeah. So at this point, they're going to start the search. The bus driver, said that the area where se bajó, like where they thought that she had gotten off. So they started to search there. The thing is, in that area, which is around West Philadelphia, there was a lot of abandoned buildings, a lot of abandoned homes, a lot of homeless people there.
¿Por qué se bajó allí? Was that like her actual stop?
I think that was where the stop was. Like ya no iba para allá, para
there
su
wasn't
casa.
one closer.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
And so they started looking. Even her friends were out there looking for her. And Andrea, like her friend, says in one of the
interviews,
the interviews, que they would go out there and they would call her name. And she's like, I still remember like going out there calling my best friend's name. Like she was so heartbroken. It's crazy. So Miss Vivian was on the news también. She was asking for help. If anybody knows where I can find the community, please come together. I want to find my daughter. We don't know. And they were able to raise $6,000 to offer as a reward. Now, $600,000 is a lot back in 93,
Even now, it's still a good chunk of money.
Chunk of money for everybody that's together to get it together,
Yeah.
So now at this point, también como Andrea and all of her friends dicen que they would just go around in the abandoned homes hoping that they wouldn't find her adentro de una. Like they were like really sad. So 2 weeks pass and there's nothing but dead ends. The investigators questioned the mother again and they said, hey, do you know of anybody que podría hacer que se vea un poco sospechoso? Like if they was out of the ordinary doing things with Shilie. So her mother did bring up something. Oh. She did bring up the fact that Coach Tim Hickey, el coach, would kind of have more one-on-one time with her or with the young ladies del track team. And so dice que they were really close y que it made her kind of feel uncomfortable because it's a male coach.
And he's like older.
And, the young ladies.
He's a coach. It's a power imbalance.
Exactly. And I think that at one point I heard in one of the interviews también que he would actually, there was a point where the girls would stay at his house.
Absolutely not.
Porque se quedaban porque they would come from track y luego se iban en la mañana.
¿Estaba casado?
I don't know about all that. I don't know, but that's probably why she brought that up. I don't know.
Porque se le hizo, maybe a lo mejor no se lo... Sorry. Maybe a lo mejor, like, when they asked her about it, like, really think about if something happened to Shilie, anything weird, then that's when she was like, oh shit. Like, I'm really thinking about it.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
this is weird.
You're right.
Yeah.
So then, but when they did go talk to Coach Hickey, he was devastated. Like, he really was, Shilie was the star of his team. And so if we know anything about like teachers and that kind of stuff, they want to see their students succeed.
Yeah.
So not only that, but he had a solid alibi. There's people around him. Like there was no way that it was him. So the group of people did verify that he was at the place that he said he was. Mm-hmm. But through Coach Hickey, they also found out some additional information about Shilie's life at home. So they find out that her home life wasn't that easy. It seemed like it was kind of difficult for her. And sometimes she would say that she did not want to go home.
Oh.
Pero para esto, like her mom never mentioned any of this.
Right.
So they're kind of like, okay, I don't know about that.
It was never like something that they thought that they should consider or look into. Yeah,
of course. So a few days later, Andrea, which is la vecina, the best friend from across the street, contacted the police when she saw something kind of suspicious. Oh. She noticed that Clarence, which is Shilie's stepdad, salió de su casa. He came out of the home and it looked like he was wearing the jacket that she had let borrow
for Shilie.
De su dad. Yeah, it was a leather jacket.
Yeah.
So she called the police.
Yes.
And she's like, hey,
I'm seeing
something is not okay.
Yeah.
So investigators did go pick up Clarence and they went to go talk to him. And they verified that he was delivering papers as he usually did around the time of the disappearance of Shilie. So there was no way. He was at work. So he was like a night worker or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was no way that he had done something to Shilie. So they asked him, okay, so then why were you wearing this jacket?
That was going to be my next question.
So he says that honestly, he just found the jacket at home and he just put it on. He didn't think about much of it. He actually, when the investigators were talking to him, they say que like he didn't even realize the connection of the jacket had to Shilie. Like, él no tenía ni una idea.
Yeah, he didn't even know that it was Shilie's.
He had no idea.
Because era del papá de Andrea. So it was like a male jacket.
Yeah,
like,
so él la miró. Like, my husband does the same thing. He actually just put on my nephew's shirt that he had left last time.
Yeah.
And he said, whose shirt is this? Because it's like a 2X.
Yeah.
And my husband would never wear a 2X because he thinks he's skinny.
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said that. Pero, y luego, he's like, whose shirt is this? And I'm like, that's Alex's shirt. No, o sea, I think I accidentally. Oh no, he's like, oh okay, and he puts it on, and I'm like, dude, Alex, that's not your fucking shirt.
Both of their names are Alex.
Oh yeah, both of their names. My nephew and my husband's name is Alex. But so anyway, I'm like, no, that's not right. at this time, the police are like, okay, it's just a jacket. Maybe it's not even the same jacket, whatever. Okay. So they kind of put it in the back burner.
But they're still like keeping it.
kind of like that. So this is where things started to look a little bit grim for the police porque the case started to go a little bit cold. So you know what? Apparently, this is a whole thing. They have psychic investigators, psychic crime investigators. Okay. So I had no idea.
I don't think that's...
I know that, but they do. And then, but I don't know about now, but I doubt it. I don't know. But they have like a list. Like I went online and I found a list of like psychics and what they found out and what they actually said. Like it's crazy. Like you can go online and see it. So the psychic that the FBI actually sent a psychic over to the investigators here, and they were like, her name is Valerie Morrison. Now, Valerie Morrison is kind of like a big deal in Philly. She's well known, like como que la gente la conoce. They've used her before for maybe another case or whatever. So it wasn't the first time that she did this, but she was recommended by the FBI.
Oh, by the FBI.
By the FBI.
Oh, shit.
So Valerie stated,
According to her,
they talked to her. They show her the pictures of Shilie.
Kind of give her like an overview.
Kind of give her like an overview. Que miras y todo esto. Okay.
Yeah.
So she stated that she saw a vision of Shilie walking with a male to the bus stop.
Okay. Which that cuadra because she was with the boy,
yeah,
right?
Pero nobody knew that. Like the police were just giving her the picture. Ellos no le dieron ninguna información a Valerie because obviously they want to make sure that she's legit.
Right.
Pero le dice Valerie, but she's not with him the whole time. Which makes sense, right?
Right. We know that. She didn't know that at the time.
But she didn't know that.
Right.
And she said that she sees her getting home y que se quita los zapatos y la chamarra. Because she's ready to go to bed.
Right. Okay.
And she keeps saying her feet are cold. Her feet were cold. Her feet were cold. That was something that she kept saying.
Or kept seeing.
Yeah. And she said she kept saying or mentioning that she was in some sort of park and she kept mentioning trees, and Valerie started to tell them that, hey, you know what? You don't need to look for her. She's dead.
Oh.
She was killed. This is what she's telling the investigators. Now, the investigators obviously are like, girl, like you can't just say that. We're still hoping that there's a little girl, 17-year-old girl is out there.
Right.
But she kept mentioning she was really scared. She's very something is making her very fearful. Like tiene mucho miedo. At this time, she's kind of like picking up stuff. And so then, but once again, the investigators no le están dando ninguna información because they're like, okay.
To see if, she's...
So then she does say, I want to talk to her mom.
Valerie.
So Valerie le dice, I want to talk to the mom y quiero ir a su casa. Like, I want to go to her home. And so the investigators talk to Miss Vivian and say, hey, Miss Vivian, do you think it's okay if we bring this Valerie, psychic, blah, 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 try to see if we can find your daughter? And so then she said, yeah, come on in. So pasó y todo. Y dice Valerie, because they have a whole, casi como una interview, pero like a whole reenactment of what happened.
Oh, like a dramatization.
Ándale. So she said that they let her in, and then Miss Vivian, in her hug, tells her, okay, I'm here to see if I can help find your daughter. So she said when she immediately walked in, she can feel she was so scared and she was cold. She's like, I was freezing. And so dice que le dijo, okay, well, can you take me to her room?
Oh, shit.
And so then she said, que le dijo, yeah, that's fine. And so she kept saying, I feel like enormous fear, darkness, and that kind of thing. So then dice que le dice, then they end up saying, she's like, can you take me to her room? So she turns to investigators and tells investigators, you stay here. I'm going to go with her mom. Just me and her. To the room.
Yeah.
So dice que they walk in and she's walking around y que le dice, is this her bed? And she sits down on the bed. Y que le dice Ms. Vivian, sí.
Do you know, tenía su propio cuarto?
Sí, ella tenía su propio cuarto. Yeah. Y le dice, is this her bed? Y le dice ella, sí. So she says she got the urge to lay down.
Oh.
So dice que se acostó. And she said that, and I quote, because this is exactly what I got from the video. Mm-hmm. She took the feelings of Shilie. This is what she said.
Right.
And she stated that there was enormous fear and darkness. And around her were trees growing. Her shoes and jackets were missing. she was buried in a shallow grave near a religious fountain / statue or of some sort. And she had trauma to her head. And she said the attacker was someone she knew. Mm-hmm. Not only that, the psychic, while she's laying down in the bed, se levanta, holds the mom's hand, and tells her, tell them where you put me, mommy. Yes. Tells her that. The mother starts screaming in panic. And she starts screaming and screaming. And she's like, get out of my house. Get out of my house. I cannot do this. So they leave.
Right.
And they're like, okay, fine. You know, we got to go. And so then obviously the psychic le dice a los investigators what she had said and told her, I know exactly where she's at. You need to go. You know, I'm pretty positive that her mom did something to her. You need to find her. Not only that, but she said that in the vision, she had lines across her head. La muchacha, Shilie. So, Shilie tenía unas líneas que eso quiere decir que tenía trauma en la cabeza. So, por eso ella menciona trauma in the head.
Yeah.
So, and this is an actual thing. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
So the source was a Court TV psychic detectives.
Right.
There's a
usually,
video.
I know usually nowadays it's like, they're like, oh, psychics, they usually jerk the family around and they don't know anything. And it's usually like people.
Let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! Taser! He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
Which I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people that are just like, mal dinero, pero I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there. Like I said, and I've always said in my whole life, just like there's good, there's always evil. And just like there's evil, there's always an explanation to everything. So I don't know. Personally, I'm not saying I believe in it. I don't believe it. I don't know. But at this point, I mean, let's see what happens.
She's not lying.
You know, so Valerie did tell them that Shilie would be at Fairmont Park. So remember, Fairmont Park, near a statue of some sort, and it would have water. She kept saying water like como que si la fueran a bautizar, like holy water.
Oh, okay.
So then she said que she was in a shallow grave and that she would not have her shoes or jacket on.
Valerie said that to the investigators. Okay.
So as I mentioned in the beginning, Fairmont Park is about 9,000 acres of park.
Right.
So
it's
the police
ginormous.
were like, bro, I'm not going to just listen to this psychic and just go and look for this girl, like without even having anywhere to start. They needed more evidence.
Right.
Obviously. Or more proof. So without any more evidence of what Valerie is stating is true, guess what? The case goes cold again. They couldn't look. Like, where do they start? She's just saying she's here. There's so much park. Like, there's no way.
Did she say a statue?
And she said a statue with
right,
water.
like,
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, probably también los detectives are feeling a little bit like skeptical también, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
So after this, 4 weeks passed and there's nothing or no new leads or nothing. On February 20th, 1993, the community gathered for a march to honor Shilie. And hours later, a man that was walking his dog at Fairmont Park came across what looked like a body that was covered in blood and with a tarp on top.
Oh my God.
The body was in a secluded area of the woods. So it wasn't like something you were just going to walk up on and be like, oh, there it is. No, It was like they tried to hide her. He called the police immediately. And they did notice that it was a young black girl who had multiple gunshot wounds.
Oh, shit.
To the face and to her chest.
What?
And it looked like she had trauma on the side of her face. Her mother, Vivian, did identify the body of her daughter, and the community could not believe it. I mean, they were devastated. I mean, everyone was so invested looking for her, trying to like figure out what happened, trying to raise money. Like, this was a big deal in Philly.
And I'm sorry, I don't know if you said it, but how long was it after that she was found?
It took about a month. She went missing around January-ish, the 17th-ish. Let me see, January. So it took about a month. She was found February the 20th, or when they found her. Mm-hmm. Okay. At this point, the mom was like, I just want to lay to rest. I want to find out who did this. So they had her funeral, right? Mm-hmm. So all the community gathers, as well as her loved ones, for Shelley's funeral. Yeah. Where Miss Vivian was giving something to talk about to everybody. See, she was not acting like a mother that had just lost her daughter. No. Ella andaba saludando a la gente. Pásele.
Un show.
Riéndose con la gente. She was just laughing. She was like, now I know, like, everybody, like, even people that were, there was a quote from the Oxygen, which Oxygen is where I found most of this information. It was an episode called Buried in the Backyard. And someone that was there, that was actually a friend of theirs, she said that not everyone grieves different. I mean, I know that everyone grieves differently, right, yes. But she was greeting people that were walking into the funeral, and that pretty much they were calling her like as if she was in good spirits, even though your 17-year-old daughter was just found dead and brutally murdered. Everyone that was, like I said, they all noticed it, and they were like, man, ¿qué tiene esta señora? Like, what's going on? So they started to rumor that she had something to do with what happened to her daughter. But she kept maintaining que ella no tenía nada que ver. It wasn't her.
There was no evidence.
There was no evidence. Yeah. She wanted to find out who had done it. She was like literally everywhere, on TV, wherever she could, to get attention, to tell them, hey, it was not me.
She was pleading for the public to, like... Yes. But she was saying, hey, it wasn't me, or she was going on television and saying, hey, help me find my daughter.
At first, she was saying, help me find my daughter. Después, after what I'm about to tell you, she started saying, it wasn't me. So she tried to clear her name. So she appeared on a local radio show with the host that was kind of known there in Philly. Se llama Mary Mason. Okay. And it was that was her Mary Mason show, I guess. So while on the air, she pleaded to the community once again to please help her find the killer of her daughter. Please, basically, yo no fui, just help me find the killer, right? Right. There was a part of the interview, though. Now, they stopped recording her, and I guess they brought up the question of how they had found her daughter.
While not on the air.
They weren't recording her. And Mary was kind of talking to her, like small talk, you know. But Vivian did go on to describe how Shelley would have looked when she was murdered. What? So see, she said, and I quote, Shelley's teeth were glistening pearly white in the moonlight. Exactly.
Is this a song?
Yeah. Not only that, she also told her how Shelley's hand had came up to her face while she was being shot. So these are kind of details that are, girl.
Yeah, why are you talking? Like, what are you saying?
What are you saying? Right. Like, not only that, but why would you say these things about your 17-year-old daughter that just got murdered? Like, she literally made the movement of, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but Shelley was found with her hands on her face. So cuando la encontraron, she had her hands like she was protecting her face. Yeah. So nobody knew that.
Yeah, Mary de seguro was probably like, bitch, what the fuck is coming out of your mouth?
Exactly. So that's exactly what happened.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Mary said, hey, I ain't fucking with this girl. You know?
You weird.
You weird. I'm about to go tell on your ass. So she did. She went to the police.
911 police?
Yes. So she talked to the detectives. Les dijo lo que había dicho la señora. And before, they were getting ready to go look for Vivian and kind of question her, like, hey, what's going on? Like, what kind of information do you know? So before they were able to go look for Vivian, she goes to the station herself. Mm-hmm. Y les dice, how do I get the media to stop bothering me? They keep bothering me. They're at my door. They're knocking. They want me to make a statement, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So the police said, okay, well, there's a way that you can clear your name. Why don't you do a lie detector test to see if you can, clear your name from once and for all? So she said, okay, I'll do it. So guess what?
She failed.
Bad. She failed her lie detector test very badly.
I'm not surprised.
So right after that, she called the investigators back into the room.
She did.
She called the investigators. Hey, I want to talk to you guys again. And when she went in there, she starts crying and she confessed to killing her daughter.
What?
Yes.
All it took for her was to fail the lie detector test, and then she's like, oh, fuck, I'm caught. I'm just gonna spill my beans.
Spill the beans. So she stated that she had been drinking and that Shilie came home late.
You know what? I thought you were gonna say something about the stepdad having something to do with it. I never occurred to me that it was her mom. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So she stated that, once again, she had been drinking and that Shilie came home and she was very upset because she was late. So Vivian stated that she was arguing with her. Now, in one version, I heard that they said that Vivian swung, like, como que she was trying to fight Shilie and Shilie tried to fight her back. And in another place, that she defended herself. Somewhere else, I heard that she didn't, that she was just fighting her and just screaming at her.
Okay.
And, but at this point, I don't know what's real because,
so
it's her account.
At one point,
they're fighting each other.
Vivian was swinging.
Yeah.
Her,
So they're fighting, right? And so then there's arguing about something, basically about being late. And she said that they got into an altercation. Vivian went to her room and she got a gun from under her mattress.
What?
So then she told her, you know what? I don't want you here. You're going to go get away from my house because you were late today. So mind you, this is the first time she's ever been late. She is a straight A student.
She's a track star. She's going to go to college.
She's going to college. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't nothing. She was just late.
She went past her curfew.
Exactly. Okay. That's fine. But she grabbed a gun. Okay. And then she said, you're not going to live here anymore. What? I'm taking you away. I'm taking you to the cops because you didn't listen to me. You do whatever you want, apparently. So she grabbed her without a jacket on and with no shoes on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Se la llevó. And so this poor girl is walking outside. Yes. In January with no shoes on.
In fucking Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia. Yeah.
No jacket.
So then she took her out of the house, obviously, and then drove her past the police station to the park. Y le dijo, okay, so this is what we're going to fight.
What?
So she was going to square up with her daughter, basically, is what she was saying. So she said...
Y la daughter ni quería.
No, of course. She's crying and she's like, no, Mom, like...
And obviously, like you were saying earlier that they were saying obviously she didn't have a good life at home or it wasn't an easy... But how do you go... That bitch is crazy, first of all, because I know you're drinking, but your daughter... Okay, let's say you want to regañar a tu hija because, you had been drinking y llegó tarde past her curfew. But where does you cross the line to be like, I'm going to go get a gun?
Yeah. What? She went to go grab her gun. Mind you, Clarence, which is her he didn't have anything to do with it. Like, he really didn't. No it was just her. Él no estaba. He was working. Oh, yeah, like, él trabajaba like in papers or something like that.
Su little sister,
yeah.
Imagine.
So, anyway, point of the story is they get to the park. Right. This is what Vivian is saying. They get to the park y que cuando llega al park, she gets mad and she's like, come on, let's fight. So the poor little girl, Shilie, is like, I don't want to fight you, Mom.
Right.
So agarra la gun y le pega on the side of her face. Vivian. So then knocked her out.
De seguro le dio más coraje que she didn't want to fight her.
Yeah. So knocked her out. And while Shelley's on the floor crying and pleading for her to stop, like, please stop.
Oh my God.
She shot her 6 times. And a few times she did shoot her in the head a few times too.
What?
So she was like, this is what mind blew me right here, okay? Because this whole thing, okay, after all of this mind blowing, but this is what mind blew me. She covered the body up with the tarp and then left her there and just goes home like nothing to go to bed.
Bitch, also, were you drinking and driving?
Like,
Obviously.
Not only that,
a fucking gun.
But the detective said, and I got this quote from the detective cuando I was watching the psychic thing. He said, I know I'm lying. This is when I was watching the oxygen thing. He said, I remember, and I'm never going to forget that when she finished confessing, she started laughing.
What?
She was laughing.
Ella no estaba viendo la cabeza? I mean, you would hope so for her to be able to do something like that, right?
So, I don't know. The detectives did go back to the home with the search warrant.
Yeah.
And to look for the leather jacket. And pretty much to talk to Clarence again and be like, hey, and the gun. Yeah. Like, hey, Clarence, did you have anything to do with it? Whatever. And he's like, I didn't have anything. I didn't know what was going on. Like, he really did not know what was going on.
Like you said, he was working.
He was working.
Yeah.
Not only that, but they never found the gun and they never find the jacket.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But the body was in freezing cold elements.
So it was well preserved?
No. There was nothing. There was no evidence for them to be able to pin or to say that Vivian had killed her besides her actual confession.
And then because there was no gun.
Because there was no gun. So 3 days later, after she confessed, they were going to put her in jail, whatever. Now she says, no, I was lying.
Damn.
She's like, no, I was lying. I never said that. They forced me to saying that. And like I said before, she called the investigators back
into the room.
Yes. So it wasn't like she wanted to say, no, you made me say something. No. She called them in there.
Yeah.
The thing is, the investigators were like, what are we going to do? Without a confession, we don't have a case.
Or not even. If you do have a confession, it's still just her word against
what they're saying. Yeah. So they did find out that Shilie was not a very good mom, obviously, as we can tell now.
Shelley's a daughter.
That Vivian, I'm so sorry. We did find out that Vivian was not a very supportive mom. Nunca iba a ningún track meet de su daughter.
Really?
Yeah. And not only that, but she was a very strict with her, pero not a strict like,
I want better for you.
Yeah, no, she was strict, like not nice strict.
Like she was a hater.
Yeah, like she was a hater. So she was a runner in school as well. And she didn't do very well.
Le tenía envidia.
Yeah. So cuando Shilie empezó a que la empezaron a ver como que she was doing better and better.
Like she was going to have a future in track that she never got to have.
Yeah, because everybody was talking about she was going to be an Olympian. And she was
getting scouted.
Yeah. And so she had the support from the coach and all of these people that were supporting her. And I don't know if maybe she didn't like that or whatever, but she did say she was very intoxicated at the time of the murder. I don't know how intoxicated you can be, but...
To shoot your own daughter?
I don't know.
Crazy bitch.
So she actually took the stand for herself.
Wait, so they did go to trial then?
They went to trial.
Okay.
She took the stand.
But even though she took her confession back, like...
Yeah, but then they ended up...
Building a case
because of the fact that, okay, well... She wasn't that great of a mom. Everybody was talking like the coach. Circumstantial. So they did take her to.
Y luego porque también Andrea, la neighbor, saw Clarence with the jacket.
So they're like, she came home. Like
so obviously she got home. Yeah.
See, obviously she got home, right? Yeah. So she did nothing but make a fool of herself. She contradicted herself. Like it was just.
Changing her story.
Changing her story. She contradicted other people's stories. It was crazy. She then was charged with 3rd-degree murder. For the murder of
so she was
her after 7 months. It took them 7 months
to charge her and then go to trial.
They found her guilty, but in Philadelphia they have 1st degree, 2nd degree, and 3rd degree. Why 3rd degree? So apparently, because of the fact that the jury said that she was intoxicated, so it kind of
didn't mean to,
and that she wouldn't have killed her daughter if she wasn't drunk.
If she was sober.
Yeah, if she was sober. So basically, they were saying that the alcohol had played the biggest part in her killing her daughter. So they only gave her 10 to 15 years.
And by the time they went to trial, what year was it? Was it still 1993?
It was still 1993. Yeah. So they only gave her 10 to 15 years. And since then, Vivian has been released from prison and she still lives in Philadelphia. And that is the case of Shilie Turner.
I have so many questions. What happened to her other daughter? Did she stay with Clarence? That was his name, right?
Yeah.
Did he divorce her?
Was that even Clarence's daughter?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what happened?
I mean, you don't know. And then I did continue, like, once again to look into like the oxygen and all of that, the show, and a lot of the stuff that I read, like the best friend, like she went through it, dude. Like she wanted to kill herself.
Andrea?
See, like she went through it, but she said that whenever she was wanting and she was going through a low part of her life point that she ended up pregnant with her daughter. Oh. So she felt that Shilie was sending her a message telling her you need to live for her. So, but everybody in the community was shocked, and they still are shocked because they couldn't believe that she only got that amount of time. Yeah. And not only that, but like when you go online and you see the pictures of her, like she looks like she doesn't give a fuck. Like she does not care.
What was her last name?
Vivian King and Shilie Turner, Shilie. So tell us what you think about this horrible. I know that they're all horrible, but did you feel a little creeped out with the whole thing that the psychic kind of like
was not spot on?
It was kind of like spot on.
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever heard of a psychic actually being spot on.
And they actually have like online, they have like the testimony that she gave, and like they have the case, the testimony, and the video of when she talks about it. It's like the craziest thing. So if y'all want to go out there and look for it, her name is Valerie Morrison, and she's still in Philly, by the way. But if you would like to follow us or send us a message, you can do that on Instagram at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes and leave us a review, we would really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
And you can listen to our podcast anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Yeah.
And
So don't forget to download. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Or rest of the week.
Or rest of the week or night or whatever.
I hope you guys have a good night's sleep.
Yeah. Good night's sleep.
Yeah.
It's been kind of rough. I hope you guys stay cool.
And fresh.
And collected.
Clean.
And clean. Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah. And don't talk to strangers.
And actually by the time this comes out, it's going to be closer to Labor Day weekend. So we hope that you guys have a safe and fun Labor Day weekend.
For real.
Okay.
Everybody have a good one. Bye.
Bye.